Okay, hello everyone. Sorry, I am a little bit late because I tried to run the software on Streamlabs in order to go live, but for some reason it doesn't work. It doesn't let me go live on the software. That's why I am a little bit late and I would have to run this live as usual um, on YouTube, but on this live on YouTube, it doesn't let me to do the giveaway. So, hi, still Matthew. So, I don't know why on the technology doesn't work in the end. It doesn't work by the last minute. I tested a couple of days ago and I tested also again last night and it worked. But today when I log in and I try to go live, it doesn't work. It doesn't let me to go live. And my light stopped working just a little bit earlier and I was thinking I'm not gonna be able to have enough light to do the video in my vein, and it has been working for like 3 years and it never have any issues, and just today the light stopped working. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Yeah, technology, like why did it work when I did the test run and now when I do the actual live it doesn't work? And I just thought that but luckily I'm by the house, so if anything happens then I can run into the house. It just that because I already planned everything out on Streamlabs. I cannot believe that the app stopped working, the software stopped working in the last minute. Anyhow, I'm still gonna run the live, and if it doesn't work then I'm just gonna use like a website online to do a random pick. um I know it's something always happens, you never know. I'm just gonna do like a random pick winner for the live today. I will figure it out how to do it. I already said it, so like I don't want to let the technology like hold me back and I'm not able to do the giveaway like I said. So okay, let's just get into the book discussion. So if anyone have already read the book, um, and if you have any questions, you can ask along the chat. I'm gonna just go into the explanation a little bit. Thank you. So I'm just gonna go into the explanation of the chapter one, the behind meaning, maybe just to make the meaning of it a little bit clearer. And you can also ask me any questions in the chat live here or after the live, and I will just answer it in the comment. Um, so let's get into it. So this chapter one, um, obviously it's available for free, so you can download it on my website livingthroughalchemy.com. Now I can pick any chapter and give it away for free, but for me, I think this is the most important chapter in the book because it's summarize everything that you need to know about alchemy. And I think this is the concept that we really need to know at the moment, especially at this point in time, um, in according to whatever that happens in the world right now. And I think this concept of alchemy can really help people to go through with their challenges and their struggles. And so is makes sense to me that this is a chapter that I wanted people to know the most, and my stories in the following chapters are what going to make the concept a little bit clearer and make the philosophy easier to understand. And so in this chapter, it basically more about the references that the places that I learned, or the concept that I learned about alchemy. And that's the reason why I was like, this is not really like knowledge things that I come up with on my own, but like things that I learn from other teachers, coaches, and um, on different places from different people. And so that's why like this is what I wanted to give out for free for that reason. Um, and because I want to make it like more easily accessible and more available to everyone who interests to know about the subject of alchemy. And it's very esoteric. It is an ancient wisdom, so I don't expect that everyone would understand this chapter like right away. But it's kind of like a hook that, okay, if you're interested in spirituality, then maybe you would interested in this type of subject because that's something that I discussed along the way throughout the book. Um, so yeah, it's like if you read the first chapter, and if you're not interested in philosophy and esoteric teaching, then maybe it's not really relevant to you. Maybe it's not something that interests you at the moment, because like even throughout the later chapters, I explain these principles in my own experiences. So even though you may Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. So even though you may understand my story, but the whole story may not make sense to you if you don't have that interest in philosophy and spirituality, because I tie that all in together. Um, like the backstory, like my life story, is basically what to explain the concept of alchemy, right? Energy is the big thing for you. um, yeah, so I think energy healing is super important, and we often see ourselves in physical reality and in um like what's on our body, but there's the energy kind of goes beyond our body, but we don't see it. So that's why we don't pay attention to it. And that's why the inner work is important. That's why it needs to be talked more in the media, and it's need to be broadcast everywhere so people can actually understand and start paying attention to the energy work. Um, so in this chapter, I explain the how alchemy connect to the seven chakras and the seven Hematic principles. So that's why it's like the number seven is in numerology. This is all about spiritual work. This is all about spiritual learning and teaching. Uh, it's all about the inner work, like really doing the inner work. And so as you go through the seven stages of alchemy, how it connects to the chakra is that with every challenge that you are facing in your life, um, when you are able to overcome these challenges, it's actually heal that energy center, because when you go through a certain challenge and you overcome it, then you have a different perspective in your life. Then you will create a different realities. because when you have different perspective, right, you will have a different way of thinking. Different way of thinking will lead you to different actions, and the according to how you act in your life, that will create a different reality in your life, right? And so that will over time um, create a healing of your energy centers. And so that's how alchemy is related to every chakra. And the chakra is also um, connect to the Hematic teachings, the seven Hematic principles. So to give you example of that, like um, for example, like the heart would connect to the law of vibration, and how the heart connect to the heart chakra. That's what I mean. Is connect to the law of vibration because you have your the heart has rhythm, right? And so the rhythm create a vibration, and so that's connect to the law of the vibration. I'm sorry, I think it's connect to the law of the vibration, which is the fourth principles, the fourth law, the fourth Hematic law. So as as you go along the different chakras, then you will get to also understand how the Hermetic teachings actually work. And this is the reason why um yeah so when you go through the each different chakra, then you will start to understand each different law and how it works because it's aligned with your body. Thank you, David. So and about the first law, it talks about the mind is all, and the mind is connected to your crown chakra. And when you open the the third eye, it will get you to access to the spiritual realm, where that is the mind is like that is the all actually. So you have the access to the all, and that's where you have the access to you will understand more about the first law, which is the mind is all, because we are all connected together, like in one. Hopefully I make sense. Hopefully that I make sense in this life. If I don't make sense, please let me know, because sometimes I think that I repeat things as well. Because it makes sense in my head, and when I talk it out, I don't know if it actually makes sense verbally when I talk to other people. So yeah, so in this chapter is give you the overview, right, of alchemy and how it's connected to the ancient wisdom, how it connects to our body. Hi, Cecile. Okay, thank you so much. How it connects to our body and how it connects to the universal laws. The reason I wanted to point out in different places is because um it means that the alchemy is basically the foundation for our own transformation and transmutation, and that happens in every single one of us. Is it happens um in basically everything in nature, in every living beings, that we have to go through alchemy, because alchemy is all related to change, and change is the only constant. So we all have to go through it regardless we want it or not. However, the trick is that if we don't have any knowledge about it, we don't know what stage we're in and what actually require of us to go through the ascension of these stages. So if you just let it happen naturally, for instance, if like something happened in your life to challenge you, to really bring you down, um if you are not acknowledging that this is the opportunity for you to grow. This is actually a challenge that you have to face in this stage of alchemy. You may go back and run into the rat race because what require of you is to um, look at things in a different perspective and figure out a solution for what you are facing at that time. Basically, is about the shadow work and being honest with yourself to face your fear and face your shadow at that certain stage, so that you can elevate your growth to the next stage of the process. So often, when we do not know about alchemy, we don't have the different perspective. We don't think that is a challenge, and the trap of that is we may cling into our own lifestyle or our own way of thinking and getting stuck in the 3D reality instead of focusing on the inner work in order to push ourselves forward to the highest stage of evolution. And so that's what I think is so important at this time, um, in this era right now, that we need to do the inner work, especially free ourselves from, the society. You already know what's like everything that's going on in the world right now, and it can be really frustrating when you all your freedom is being stripped out of you. Sorry, Marco is talking. He's gonna be someone is outside of the window, and so he's getting all excited. And so at this point in time, stress out. No, I mean strip. I don't mean stress out. I mean, like we are being stripped of our freedom according to what happened in this pandemic right now, and that's why it's like we cannot change. I know he's right here. You see, he's looking out of the window, and someone was walking by. So he was like, so he was like, oh, he wanted to bargain. Okay, so what I was saying about. Okay, so I was talking about how we being stripped of our freedom in this pandemic, right? So that's why inner work is more important now than ever, and that's why I wanted to share this concept with alchemy, because like when I was writing the book, I was just going to write about van life. Um, I did not think that it was going to be a spiritual book, to be honest, but somehow I stumbled upon this concept of alchemy, and it helps me to connect the dots of my life. Um, and that's how I come to realize my own life purpose, that I need, like, as I connect the dot of my life, I realize, oh, why I crave so much freedom in my life and why I live this lifestyle. And um so when I understand the alchemy, I realize that, oh yeah, I'm actually like going through the spiritual journey, and this is what I wanted people to really understand, because van life is only a part of, just a small part of the whole process, like the whole journey. Because like the story started like 7 years ago, and I just started van life maybe like what, 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago. So it's still within the frame of the spiritual journey. And I just think that everyone who live in the vein, or wants to live in the vein, like, you probably have that crave for freedom, right? You probably want to be in certain level, you want to be free from some things that you're not happy about in your life. So you kind of want to have that escape, right? So that's what it is for me. I don't know about all of you, but I think it's maybe relatable that there's certain things that we're not happy about in this society. That something is not working for us, and we want to break away from that. So it's getting clearer and clearer to me that thanks to Sue. So it's getting clearer and clearer to me that the society is very dysfunctional. This society that we live in is very dysfunctional. So the pandemic is actually just, I don't think the pandemic is a bad thing because it's actually pushed us to look into ourselves and realize, oh, our society is not functional. Our family is not functional. Me, myself is not functional. Something is wrong and in my life and I need to make the difference. And what is that? Um, and so what we're going through in the whole society collectively together is that also the part in the stages of alchemy as well. So each of us have our own layers, how uh, may I say circle that we have to go through in alchemy. So is the collective all together, like have to go through the process of alchemy because everything goes into the circle. That's why we call it the circle of life. Same as the circle of alchemy, the stages of alchemy, because you may achieve like a certain things. Even if you go through all the 7 stages, then you may finish that cycle of that part in your life, but you still have to continue because your soul will ever growing. So is your life. You always grow and you always evolve. And so there's many different layers. There are many different cycles that you have to go through for your soul evolution, not just us individually, but also through the whole planet itself. However, because we all are conscious being, so and we also energy, and because we connect with the planet, right? Because we are all one. So if each every single one of us um, go through the growth process, then we will be able to raise the the uh, the consciousness of the whole universe as well. And I was like, that is what more important to discuss than just the van life. And I think that um like I said earlier, like the van life was actually just like kind of like a trigger, like something that trigger my conscious, like to actually think to actually think about what's not working in my life. Like, why do I crave my freedom so much? Why do I want to live this nomadic life so much? And so, for everything that we kind of crave in our life, um, dig a little deeper into it, and we all just, all the answer may just come back either like we want that freedom or we want that peace. So even if you want the big house, like a mansion house, or you want something really fancy, like what is it in the core of that desire that we actually really want? And so when you go to the core of it, that is when you can actually solve their problems, and find that happiness. Because like no matter like if you acquire like a big mansion, um and you may just like go through like mansion to mansion, like doesn't matter like how much you actually acquire, but if you don't understand the core desire for what you create out in the materialism, then you're not going to be able to find that happiness, right? And so to understand like that core desire is like that's what your soul desire, right? So in order like for you to be happy, your soul has to be happy. I don't know if that makes sense. And that's why when we acquire so much success, like in financial success, in life, into society, we may not necessarily have that peace and freedom and happiness that we want yearn for, even though we think, oh, this is like what I actually want, but like when I have it, I don't feel happy, right? So it's not all about that materialistic acquiring. Is more about understanding like what our soul actually desire. So yeah, so when you understand these concepts of alchemy, it helps you to reflect so much into your life. It helps you to um, connect the dots of your life in order to see. So when you're able to connect the dots, like why everything has to be that way, why things that happened to me in the past that make me really upset, that make me really miserable. But when you're able to connect that dots, you understand so much of your journey, like why it has to be that way in order for you to be here. And when you see the patterns of your life through all these dots, then you get to understand where you go next in life and what is the purpose of all of that, and that will help you to see the purpose of your life. Because when you get to understand what your soul really desire, then you get to understand your life purpose. Because that's what Paulo Coelho actually said in the book, uh, The Alchemist, right? So he said that what you what you actually really desire in your life is the seed of the universe that planted in you, and that is your life purpose. He kind of said that along the way, not every single word. um yeah, so we need the quiet time in order to listen to that inner voice and to understand our desire. Often what I to me, this is my experience, and what I see is that when we are bombarded with other people in the society, like other people around us, because everything is energy, right? So we can easily pick up other people' energy. We can pick up on their vibe, on their mood. So all of that, in the way that I see that is like pollution, like energetic pollution, especially if it's not pure, if it has a lot of negativities. And so in a way, it also affects us as well when, so I feel that pretty strongly when I stay in the city, and it's sometimes is I get very tired. Um, if I go so far away in remote places and then I go back and just stay in the city, I can feel the difference very obvious to me. So what happens is that when we get bombarded with other people and in society, it's very hard for us to monitor and understand our own energy, to actually like listen to, like we don't hear that voice, or we don't um it's kind of bring down your into intuitive power, basically. So because you can easily get affected by other people's opinions, thoughts, um judgment, criticism. But when you are able to isolate yourself and um just be along with yourself, then you get to kind of like hear that voice, or you get that more intuition a little bit stronger, a little bit louder. So you get to understand what yourself actually wants. a little easier. Um, oh yeah, yeah. So that's why whenever I go into like uh like remote places and stay just by myself in nature, it's incredibly healing for that reason because I don't get bombarded with other people. um and because in nature it's pretty much like it's cleanse your energy as well if you stay grounded. If that's why I always tell you guys that stay close to nature because it's very healing for you and it is free. And it is very powerful even though you don't see it, you don't feel it at the moment, but the power is in the subtle changes. It's not things like very eruptive. Like it's not things like, oh, it's very instantly. If it's instantly, it may not even be powerful. Um, you feel the energy very distinctive. Yeah, so we all are very intuitive, like naturally, but because we are being stripped of that energy and we don't have a clear understanding of it, so and we like sometimes we were taught like that's is crazy or like it's too much in your head or don't listen to it, it doesn't make sense, right? So we ignored it very easily because it doesn't make sense for because it's not familiar, because that's not what we were taught or that's not what we learned. So it's very hard for us in order to listen to our own intuition. And that's why the van life was what beneficial for that healing. Hi, Maury. So that's why van life is beneficial for that healing process. In my opinion, that's what helped me to go through the stages. Helped me to go through the stages of alchemy, like pretty much like naturally, because I'm able to go away and just isolate myself, and be just alone and not being bombarded by other people. And every time I do that, I feel really refreshed. Um, I feel more like myself, and that's why I love this van life. I feel a lot more like myself, living the van life than living the normal life. But often this is something that we are not heard of, and this is something we're not familiar with. um if you look into like people who live in a van or people who live in tiny houses, we often like to be like more closer to nature. And I noticed they are very spiritual in some way. Not all of them, but some of them are very spiritual, just like very naturally, because we are drawn to go back to our own nature, to be closer to nature. And when you get there, you be so close to nature, you don't want to go back. Living like in big cities. Um, and so this why I'm like this van life is only part of the spiritual journey, and I can see it and I can understand it. And that's what I really want to share to everyone. um I don't necessarily promote van life and tell everyone, oh, this is what you should do in order to go through the stages of alchemy, in order to um like to have more healing. I don't really think van life is for everyone though. This is what called for me is like it just I feel like my soul is just meant to be a nomad. um so I just this is what happens to me, and I just enjoy van life for that reason. Okay, I cannot read too long comments. I would have to go back and check on your comments. But let me finish, otherwise I'm gonna like keep running in different places, and I'm not sure exactly. I'm gonna get off the train of thought now. I'm gonna jump into a different one, so I may not make too much sense with you guys. um I was talking about how when life connects to spirituality, right? But I will discuss a lot more about that in later chapter, because that's also a chapter in my book as well. Um, how I get to transition into van life, and how that helps me to heal as a person, and how that open up spirituality in my life, because I don't think that I would got into spirituality. I don't think I would know anything about it, or have the awakening, or understand anything about spirituality if I didn't live in my van. So that was definitely like an opening door for me, um, with the van life. But like I said, I don't necessarily tell everyone, okay, you have to go live in a van in order to go through all the stages of alchemy. It depends on like what you feel like, what your heart tells you to do, and what listen to your heart, that and listen to your passion. That's your compass, like to in order to go through the stages of your own evolution. um because I don't think everyone's meant to be a nomad. I don't think everyone would be so interested in living in the van, but we all have to go through the stages of alchemy. And that's why I'm like, this is my story, but hopefully the people will understand that, um, this is what I have to go through, but not necessarily that you have to go through it. You just need to understand what these are the concepts of the spirituality, and that is going to affect like every single one's of our, like all of our lives. But your journey is not going to be the same as my journey. Because everyone have different journey, everyone has different karma, have different lessons to go through. So everyone gonna have different realities. It depends on your soul, like what you actually desire and what you actually want. So you don't do it because other people do it, and because um is healing for them, but it may not necessarily be your journey. You can still try it out, see whether you like it or not, though. um to me, I just think that, um well, first of all, that's the reason why I wanted to share my story and have you to reflect on it in order to understand your journey. Because I don't think, like, you cannot really tell the other people like what to do in your life, but you can only share like what you have done in your life, and other people can see it and reflect on it. And because people don't really know about van life until it goes on YouTube, until it get popular on YouTube, right? So people don't really know um what it's like to go through the stages of alchemy if no one's actually talks about it, if no one shared their journey. There has been a lot of books about alchemy, um, but a few of them that I read are very, it's not that easy to read, because it's a lot of them are like ancient wisdom, and it's like you would have to have like background knowledge about esoteric teachings, and a lot of background knowledge about spirituality, in order to understand it. And I guess that's the reason why it has not been a very popular concept. But the one that was taught by Mystery Teachings or by Teresa Bullard is very easy to understand. And so if you want to learn more about alchemy, um, you can go check her out. So the my book is, and I reference her in my book as well. So my book is like my story in order to help people to understand more about it and get you to be more intrigued about um this type of spiritual teaching. But of course, I'm not gonna like reiterate what actually I'm not gonna reiterate like what other people have taught, but rather I wanted to share my stories. So maybe that would interest you to take a deep dive into alchemy and tarot. Okay, so um, I think I talk a little bit out of the line. Go kind of go beyond chapter one. I have also received comment that so this is a tarot deck that I use in my book. So I have received comment that from other people that in chapter one I should talk a little bit more about tarot. I will go back and read on the comments. I can't read it now. Like all the thoughts just like keep running in different directions. Otherwise, I don't make sense. Um. So they said that you should talk more about tarot in the book, and it's kind of funny that this card come out. Nice of store. But I don't necessarily want to. I'm not like a tarot teacher. I'm not the expert in tarot. So that's the reason why I don't know. I didn't want to focus too much. Like in the whole chapter one, is rather I want to focus more like the overview of alchemy, because the tarot that is mentioned in the tarot cards that mentioned in the book are actually there to um, facilitate the understanding of the alchemy. So it's not really all about tarots, but the tarots really help you to understand more, like at each different stage, the different archetypal energy of that stage of alchemy, because there's just so many different things that can be going on at each stage of alchemy, and so the tarots kind of narrow it down, like give you like a look in a smaller lens, so you can understand at that what's going on at that specific stage, the wisdom from it, and sometimes it gives you kind of like the key answer, like to help you, okay, what you need to do in order to get through this stage. That is very helpful. That's why I think tarot is not woo woo, because there's just so much wisdom embedded in these cards. Like the details is kind of like solving mysteries, like on the images of tarot. That's what very exciting to me, because I love everything about mystery. So when you understand the symbolisms on the image, um, it's kind of like it's open up the lessons for you, and like and will tell you like exactly what's going on in your life at the moment, so you have more understanding, okay, what's the next step that you need to do, and what you can do in order to overcome each specific stage. So that's why I think tarot is very helpful for that reason, and that's why I wanted to incorporate it into my book, because that is the major key that glue everything together for me, and it make it like so much easier to understand, and it dissect like each every stage into smaller segments, so it's easier to digest as well, instead of like there's just so much going on at this first stage of calcination, but then um it's kind of like in different steps, and so with tarot it makes it so much clearer. And so when people ask me like, why didn't you uh just talk about tarot, like just put all the information on tarot in the first chapter, because that like in each chapter I give you like a little bit of description about that tarot card that going on that affect that stage. um so the reason I didn't want to put that like all the tarot information in the first chapter, just so you don't have to go back at each different chapter, you don't have to go back and reference that card. I think it just it's just not logical for me in a way. And because there has been a lot of books and teachings about tarots that you can reference to, and I don't have to repeat it, and I don't have to reiterate what other people work. um, so to me, I think it just makes sense that way. So hopefully that it makes sense for you as well. Because for other people, they think that, oh, you would have to understand tarots in order to understand the book. Um, Hopefully that with this explanation, it will help you to look at the other way around, and that you don't have to understand tarot, but the story will help you to understand the symbols in the tarot card. So you don't really need to have any basic understanding about the tarot. So think of it um uh like a painting from Van Gogh or Da Vinci, like kind of like Da Vinci Code. So the story help you to understand like like the different symbols or the key in the painting, in the picture. uh, tarot has a lot to do with alchemy. It depends on how it depends on how you use the card. But the one that I don't use it like for tarot reading, that is very different. It's not about fortune tarot. So it's about the one that I was talking about in the book is it's called the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is basically when you go through the major arcana of the tarot from zero to from card 0 to card number 21, then you will get is the journey of your life through alchemy. So it's go in the circle from card 0, which is the Fool, to card number 21, which is the World. When you travel through the major arcana, it will tell you the stages of alchemy. So I explained that in the book. So it's not about fortune telling. It's not about doing tarot reading, but more about understanding the major arcanas and how it is related to alchemy, how it helps you to understand the process of alchemy. So let me find the card and maybe I can help you to understand this a little bit more. Let me find the major arcana card. Does everything make sense to everyone so far? I don't know. Uh, I don't know if I make sense so much to you guys. Okay, so let's see let's pick the one I talk in the book. I can find it. Okay, so this one, the Chariot, right? So if you look at the symbol, there's a lot of hidden symbols on here, and because these card design in the Renaissance by the two occultists, so they embed a lot of mysticism in here. So how this card relate to alchemy? So I explained this in the second chapter. So I don't want to go into what you would have to read the book, but I'll just give you a little details. So first here you see the two sphinxes, right? So one is white and one is black. So the sphinxes are worshipped in ancient Egypt. So you have to learn this in esoteric teaching as well. But the black and white mean is go into the different directions. like the yin and the yang, is represent for duality of the world, because everything in the world is duality, is the law of polarity according to the Hematic teachings, right? And here you have the symbols of the yoni and lingam. So that represents for the law of gender, which connect to the first chakra, and the seven Hematic law. So, and here you have the man who's have the one on his hand. So he he's standing in like a canopy, and the current are the stars above him. And he so it looks like he was about to like go somewhere, and he has like kind of like warrior. He's wearing like the, I don't know what this is called. I think it's like he's about going to like on a journey. Um, so when you see these symbols, see these symbols, like it would tell you, because he's going on a journey. But which direction does he go on? Because his chariot is pulled by the two sphinxes, like black and white. So it's basically symbolism, like you go to the black, you go to the black direction, or you go to the white direction. Like which one do you want to steer your life to? And behind him are like the castles. So the castles often represents like cities, but it's like it looks like he's going away from the city. And this symbol kind of represent, or this is the wings often represents for freedom, and this is represents for the first stage of alchemy. Well, before going to the first stage of alchemy, because it's like a spiritual journey. It's like traveling from the seventh chakra up to the first chakra, right? So that's the journey, that's the spiritual journey that he's on. And the canopy up here is kind of, it looks kind of like the stars of the universe, which is what kind of influenced him on his journey. So it's not about it's not really about like doing like fortune telling, but it's more about understand the meaning in the card. So this is the number 7 is like a major arcana. So this is the leading card that before going to the first stage of alchemy, because this card is on about going on a spiritual journey, about like if you understand like in the concept of alchemy, that's what it means, because it prepare you for going on the hero journey. But like if you do like the tarot readings, because like he's a warrior, so it's also have the meaning of like he's winning the war, like winning the like if you do a project or like something going on in your life, it's like you are on the way to win a certain things in your life, etc. But so that's what it means in that's what it means when I explains it in the book. Like this is not a tarot's reading, and that you don't have to understand so much about tarot, because I explain these things in the book. I explain these symbols in the book, and how it actually relate to my stories, and how it comes out in my journey, in my experience. Because when you see how it affects my life, then maybe you'll be able to understand how it affects your life as well. And that's why at every chapter I have the journal prompts, so you can get to reflect on your life and get to understand about um about your life journey as well, and where the tarot archetype kind of affects your life at a certain point in the past or also now, you can tune into this wisdom and get to understand more about your life a lot better. Okay, so hopefully that will help you to understand the structure of my book and why it is that way, why I incorporate tarots into the concept of alchemy, so that it will make it a little easier to understand rather to be more confusing. But I don't want it to be like a focal point of the whole book, because it's basically something that just to help you to understand it a little bit easier. Okay, so I don't want to run it for, I don't want to ramble too much on the live. So I'm gonna go back and look at your comments and see what else I can answer, and I'll figure out how to do um, the random winner for the giveaway. Okay, hold on. Let me open up the chat. Uh, I haven't been able to read your comments so much, so let me see. Mostly from Steve Matthews. uh, okay, so I don't see that many questions. Do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, I don't see any questions, Matt. Oh, wait. Okay, Wendy Shu asks, wondering if your family origin, wondering if your family of origin has impacted your emotional state. Uh, do you mean my Asian family? Um, yes, definitely. Big time, and I talk about that in the book as well, how the way that I was raised actually impacted my life, um, the way that I think and the way that I am, and definitely how I deal with my emotion as well. And it is a big factor for me to um, have that desire of freedom, because the ways that I was raised is like really strict. Um, and when I got to be away from my family, that was the first time I get the taste of freedom. And I was like, I don't think I wanted to live so close to my family. Not that I don't love them. Um, and they have been very supportive of me, actually, of my van life now, and of me publishing this book. Even though they don't know anything much about it, but they have been very supportive of me now. That they, well, there's not, first of all, there's nothing that they can do about the way that I live my life now, because I'm not going back ever. After several years, they kind of give up on telling me like to go live like a normal person. And secondly, because I think because they see that I'm more mature now, so they have a little bit more faith on me and just let me do everything on my own. um if you talk about emotional wound, definitely a lot, like how you're raised, and how your parents raise you, and your parents love really affects you as a person. So I discussed that throughout my book also. um and it's really affect your relationship, your romantic relationship as well. um so it's definitely that we all need to be mindful of, because the wound that we carry from the past when we were young, um it it has big impact in our day-to-day life and in our relationship with other people as well. So yeah, it's very important. um in terms of like my ethnicities and how it impacts me, um not so much about being Asian, more like maybe because it's a little bit different for other people to see. um it's more about the family drama that's actually affected me, less so about my race and being Asian, that affect my emotional being really. So it's all about trauma and the wound that in the past that affect my emotional state, but it doesn't have so much with the fact that, yeah, because I'm Asian, so I face certain challenges. I did a little bit, but more so because of the trauma that I faced in the past when I was younger. But that was a really good question. Thank you, Wendy. Uh, Living simply to simply live. So you say, so you have been driving the entire time, and oh, thank you, thank you, living simply. That's so nice of you. You have to pull over. uh, you say what has to go to stew. Um, okay. Okay, if there's no other questions, that I'm gonna do the giveaway. Okay, Wendy said, aside from your book, how are you doing with the cold weather at your location? Has your vein been repaired? What have you done with your vein improvement lately? Oh, thank you for asking, Wendy. The cold weather. Oh, it was actually snowing a lot for the last 2 days. Cause I'm here in Nova Scotia, but I have two heaters. Let me show you. So I have one heater there and one heater here. So they both run on propane. Um, so I'm kind of good in terms of the cold weather. It's not very cold in the winter because I'm running like the heater right now. So I just wear this cardigan, not a lot. And right now I'm parking on the driveway. Like during the storm, I'm parking on the driveway of the place that I'm renting out right now. So I'm gonna move in next Monday. But that right now they let me just stay on the driveway so I can use shower and water. So I was able to hook it up to the power outlet a little bit, but it doesn't really work with the light inside my van. I guess because the light is 12 volts and the outlet is 120 volts, so it didn't work so well, so I didn't hook it up anymore. But the driveway kind of slanted, so I can run my fridge on propane, so I had to move. Regardless, I'm kind of get very bored staying on the driveway for several days, so I want to like go somewhere else now after this. But it has been very nice of them just to let me stay during the storm, so have so I can have access to anything that I need inside. But of course, I don't want to stay like the whole time until I move in. But aside to that, yeah, my van was repaired. Uh, After the accident from Montreal, is they actually did a very good job. So yeah, health is yeah, it is very warm inside the van, so I don't have any issues with staying warm really. More so, like it's hard to get water. It's harder to do the sunny jump. Is um Yeah, all those things is a little bit harder, and like go get showers at public places. So definitely, I would have to move into a place to be kind of stabilized because I don't want to like go do errands all the time in the winter time, and because I don't have winter tires, so I can't really drive when it snows and it gets super icy here after the snow because everything freezes after that. It's ice everywhere. So it was even hard for me to walk just 2 days ago. So it's just better for me to stay in the house instead of like living in my van and drive everywhere. I don't think this van is built to live in the winter time, especially in the East Coast. I feel like I'm already pushing it over the limit right now. Um, but it is bearable. It's not as enjoyable as in the summer for sure. Just to make my life a lot easier, I just have to stay somewhere inside rather than going outside and live in the van the whole time. Um, yeah, I know that there's some people here in Nova Scotia that do that, unless their vehicles is very insulated and they have winter tires. Otherwise, I find that it's quite dangerous to do that and just push yourself that much. Like, no, not for me. Like, I want to be safe first. it's it's not really enjoyable living in that the van that way. Like, I don't want to make my life that miserable in the winter. So but thank you so much for asking. Um, so the van is fully repaired. Everything is good after the accident, and the guy in Montreal was really good. Um, Nowhere in Montreal was able to fix the ladder of my van, but that body shop they was willing to check it out and they welded it and they fixed it, like because like they couldn't find a ladder. Nowhere else would be able to do that. They didn't dare to touch my van because they couldn't find the door to replace it. But this guy in Montreal, like they fix everything and it looks really good. Maybe I'll show you guys next time how it looks in the back of my van, because it's all the dents was gone. Like it looks almost exactly like in the original shape. Um, Live on the side of the road. Well, yeah. So in the winter time when it snows here, it's I don't know if it's possible to like even park on the side of the road. Like maybe I can park in the park. It's very easy to find parking here in Nova Scotia. That's what I find, especially now there's no tourists and it's pretty empty. So nobody really care if you park anywhere. Like I find it so laid back here in Nova Scotia. Like nobody cares that much. Um, so it's quite easy to find parking. I think it just the weather is quite unenjoyable. Especially it's very windy and it's sometimes it's very windy and it shake the van so much and it scare Marco. This guy is such a wimp. He's kind of like afraid of everything, and he doesn't like the cold that much. He doesn't like, um, yeah, he likes the snow. He likes to play the snow and he likes to lick it. But in general, he doesn't like to walk so much in the cold. He's kind of spoiled. So um yeah, well, I think it would be so much more comfortable for me and Marco. Plus, it's only for a couple months. I'll move back to my vein. Either by end of March or in April. So it's yeah, it just make our life so much easier that way, and we don't have to worry so much about the weather. And my batteries die during the cold. Yeah, it's just a lot safer. But thank you for asking. Okay, so if there's no more questions, I will figure out what have you improved inside your vans if you since your van got some improvement inside. Yes, yeah, it did. Van City Van Lifestyle Van. It's easier to do that in Vancouver in BC. Um, so I stay in my van year round in BC in Vancouver area, but not in the East Coast. It's way colder. I only stay in my uh only in BC in Vancouver area that I would stay in my van on year round, which uh that's what I did for the first 3 years. But no, not in Montreal, not in the East Coast area. Halifax, Nova Scotia is still colder than lower BC, and it's just not safe. Well, some people still do it though. I met a girl from that live in a bus, and she said she stay here in the winter time, but I'm just not. Yeah, I'm just not doing that. Not for my van, especially. I don't wanna do winter tires. She has a bus, and I think it's insulated, but uh yeah, I think her bus is insulated, but I don't think she has winter tires. But yeah, she says she stay in her bus here in the winter time as well. Um Not even here, like in Nova Scotia. She said last year, like she was staying in Newfoundland, which is colder than here. I'm like, no, no, I don't think I would like to do that. It's a little bit too much. Yeah, it's for some people who want to do like really hardcore. But yeah, I don't want to do that for myself. So, but yes, I did have some improvement in my vein. Let me show you what I have done. Um, I was actually thinking about this, but I didn't get the chance to record it. So I changed the curtains. So this is new after I did the after I repaired my van. I changed it as well because they all ripped, and I also put in the new tiles. You guys have such good eyes that you actually notice. But please ignore the way that I tile. I didn't do a very good job because I don't know how to do it well, so they're not like all even. But yeah, it's I did there's some tiling in the back here because before it was just like a silver thing in the back. It's so ugly and it's so hard to clean. So I think it looks a lot better. But let me know what you think. Um, Please ignore my flower. They die. I haven't got the chance to replace my flowers, but I added some crystals, and this is kind of like um and the headlights, but this is more like about chandelier for me. So when I lay on bed or when I do meditation, I turn off on the light, so I get to so this looks very nice at night, and I get to do what essential oil diffuser. So I know, please don't laugh at my tile. It still looks a little bit better than before, but it's just not even. I couldn't do it even. I'm not a very handy person. And all it does is just like stick and peel is very easy to do, but I couldn't align it. I don't know how to make it like so aligned. Anyhow, but I added the light, I added the tiles, I changed the curtains in my van, so it looks a little bit more homey in here now. Thank you. It's just a little details that make it look pretty nice. So I can enjoy my trip a little bit more. Oh, you cannot tell. That's good. That's good that you cannot tell it's even. But if you look in person, like all the lines are not very even. I know. I really like the color of the tiles because it's a little bit more modern. So it makes this space. It really changes the space of the van because it's so nice because everything is so outdated, so that's like, and that's kind of like the focal point when you walk into the van. So before it's just like a silver plate and it's just so ugly and so dirty and it's so hard to clean. So I'm like, this makes it so much easier and better for me, so I was very happy with that. um Aside from that, there's nothing much that changed. There's still a few things that I want to do. I wanted to change the faucet, but I couldn't find the faucet that would fit for my vein, so I just have to leave the original one in place, and I couldn't change it at all. Um, but yeah, it's just a little bit of change, and I actually love the curtains. So I changed all of them, all the sets of the curtains, and I found a really good deal in Montreal. So now I'm able like to touch it like this, and they black out curtains as well. So oh, the only one that I don't change is this one because it's still in a very good shape. And it's velvet. It's quite good material, so I keep that one. That one is original from this brand. But everything else, I was able to change everything else, and I'm very happy with these curtains because they black out, so I don't need the reflectors to cover the light. So it's very dark at night. It's able to black on the light out, and also early in the morning because I sleep very late. it's dark. It's dark enough in the morning for me to sleep in. But okay, anything else, guys? So I will thank you, Wendy. Yeah, the coins looks really good. I got all of them for like $300, and they did the customs. They custom made everything for me as well. It was such a good one. In Montreal, I was so happy that I found that place and it was able to replace everything for me like within $200. I was stoked. And it's black alcohol, so super good fabric. So you have more expense in winter, just say strained propane. Let me see. Do you consider getting a job or even a temporary one? Do I consider getting a job? No, not at the moment. It actually consumes a lot of work. Like doing promotion for my book consumes a lot of work. I think it's even more than full time. So I don't know, like I don't think I would be able to have time to find another job, and I'm kind of happy with the work that I do now, and so my focus is um, getting getting this book to take off rather than focus on like getting another job, getting more full-time job. Yeah, it's more than full-time job because like I feel like I'm working all the time, and if people ask me like um and also taking care of yourself and working on your own project, like being an entrepreneur, is like, it's, I don't know, it's so much more than full-time. Like if you want to take your life easy, do a regular job. But if you want to do everything yourself, um, so I can give it away for free. It doesn't cost me that much to give it away for free, but I want um to get the book out there to many people, and so yeah, I'm happy to give it away for free. So of course it's not like forever. I'm not gonna give like a lot of books away for free, but just for now, just for the month of December, because many of you have already supported me along the way as well, and so I'm very thankful for that. Um, and this is sometimes something that I can do to give back to the community and to the people who uh to all of you who have supported me actually. So yeah, um this that's kind of like the plan for me for now, and I don't feel like um financially stuck that I can't afford everything. So everything is kind of good for me at the moment, and I don't feel like I need to rush in order to get a job because I'm planning to stay here for only 3 months. It's just too short to get a job. Thank you, Wendy. And yeah, it's like it's kind of like my life purpose now to do this work, more so than to um more so than to make money, I think. Than just to focus on making money. And the thing is that it has to do with your own awareness in order like what you actually focus on in your life. For me, I focus on like the work that I do rather than focus on surviving on money, because I think that is the mentality of lack. Um, because if you feel like you have, if I feel like I'm lacking money, so I have to find a job, um, you're always gonna be lacking. You're always gonna be uh, sort of short of money. So you always gonna run in that train. So it's not the mentality of having abundance. I don't know if you know what I mean. So that's not really my focus, because if I focus on I have enough now, everything will just come to me. So it's not about having faith and practicing that law of attraction. That's the key of the law of attraction, is that um, knowing that everything is enough, knowing that focus on what you're meant to do and not focus so much on the lack of having money. Know, know that everything is taken care of. I will talk more about this later on because it's going to be a very long subject. Uh, and it can be pretty complex, but you may think that I'm crazy, but I'm not. It's you may think that I may be a little bit too much out there, and people always ask me like, you don't worry too much about anything, like why you always happy, uh why you always so calm, and I was like, that that's why I don't worry too much about anything, um, because I just focus on the present right now. And I know that everything's gonna go well. I know that everything's gonna be taken care of. I know that I'm always gonna have a shelter. I know that I'm always gonna have enough food and water and enough money for me to live, like more than enough sometimes. So I'm very grateful for that. And for me, I can't do too many things at once. I can only focus on one thing at once. Otherwise, I get very overwhelmed. It was the reason why I could not start doing entrepreneur on my own work when I had my job in Vancouver. It wasn't even that it was so much time consuming for me. It was more like um, because it was comfortable for me. So I didn't have the motivation to do what I meant to do or what I need to do. So when I focus on just this, I know that I'm able to do it well, and I don't have to uh, digress my mind in different places, and I can just like, yeah, I can just do this, focus on this work. And I don't think we are even meant to do multitask, but rather one task. Especially, I'm so slow by nature. I can't do too many things at once. If like everyone asks me, right? If you ask me like how fast I drive and how often I drive, right? So I always tell my friend that I drive only 1 hour a day. So that's why it took me like 18 months to go from BC to here. Because I enjoy so much different places along the way, and I because I get overwhelmed easily, so I don't stuff myself with too many things, then I would just procrastinate. Because for this project, I procrastinated a lot. Like, I was supposed to do this live like a month ago, but I didn't. But I didn't, and I tried to research and do everything else. Um, So yeah, it would be very difficult for me to take on so many different projects at the same time. Unless this one is settled out, then I'll be able to start working on something else. And my plan is to have another book. Um, but we'll see. Stay tuned on that. Uh, I c- you can't focus on the future. um yeah, only focus on the present, not so much of the future. And yeah, like I said, my mentality is that everything is enough for me, and I don't feel like I'm lacking of anything that push me to the point that yeah, I need a job. So this is my main job for now. This book is my main job for now. And I also want to say that if you have read a book, if you want to support me, please leave me the review on Amazon. That would be very very helpful, because in Amazon systems, the more review you get, the easier the book to be shown on the system, and so other people can find my book as well. Um, and so I can spread this message, and that would be super super helpful for me. And it's also, um, if you want to share it with the world, if you like it and if you want to share the world, that would be really awesome as well. So um, I don't find it to be that way. I don't find it to be hard. I think that if you're aligned, everything is gonna like help to support you, and just have faith. Have faith. um that that's what I think right now, because I feel like, oh, everything is aligned, and I don't feel like I have to rush on doing anything else. So I'm good to continue on this project probably for another year, and see how everything turns out, and see how everything goes, and any opportunities open for this, because I didn't really write this book if I didn't start my YouTube channel. Um, and if I didn't write this book, I wouldn't go on podcasts, so to meet so many other people. So I think opportunity are still gonna like open up. So, but thank you so much for worrying about me and caring about me. That is so sweet. That is so nice of you. Uh, yeah. You don't know Amazon is homad? I don't understand what that means. Okay. I don't. I don't know. Amazon is so hard. Amazon is so hard. Um. It can be. It can be. Well, everything is a challenge. Your life is also hard. Like I think entrepreneur is hard. Like whatever you do, what kind of entrepreneur you do, you're always gonna face challenges, and everything is gonna be hard in the beginning. But it's all about taking one step at a time and just keep going on that direction. And especially if you feel aligned with what you meant to do in your life, then it's give you a lot of more motivation and persistence to overcome those challenges. And this, like I said, I look at this like, oh, it's just like another stage of alchemy, and it helps me to learn so much more about myself, and it helps me um, to face the challenge. And it's actually not really easy because it's make me question a lot about my self-worth as well. um, so it will push you to grow through this journey, because if I'm not following this direction and I go somewhere else, then I would just make my life comfortable, and I know that being comfortable is not going to help you grow as a person. um, and so yeah, if I'll do anything to keep going, actually. And otherwise there wouldn't be otherwise there wouldn't be the purpose for this channel or for this book. um so let's see. I Okay, it's already an hour and a half. I don't Let's see how I'm able to, if I'm not able to run the giveaway on this live, then I would just do the generate in the chat randomly, and we just pick a random comment. Then I will just announce that comment in my short or on the post on YouTube. And so you guys can just keep updated with that. Then you can reach out to me personally, so I can send the reward to you, and I can send the book to you, because I don't think that I will be able to do the giveaway on this live with YouTube, because Streamlabs bailed me out and it didn't let me do it didn't let me do the giveaway. But I can generate the comment um, randomly through the website, through a website on Google, and that way I'll be able to announce the winner later. Would that be okay with you guys? And I can see like how many people log in here as well. So make sure that you have to comment in order for the system to see you and your username. So is that good? Okay, I don't see any more comments going in, so I guess that would be okay. Okay, it's okay. Okay, thank you so much, Wendy. And I'll try to generate it tonight, and maybe um, by tomorrow or latest on Tuesday, tomorrow night or latest on Tuesday, you will hear something from me. Okay, so stay tuned and check on my channel so I can announce the winner and who can get my book, and also the Amazon gift card. And I'll be going live every Sunday to talk about this now. So next week I'll be talking about chapter 2. So I'll dig a little bit deeper into the Chariot card, and the story behind it, and what is the key point. Um, Thank you so much, Wendy. So I will talk more about the Chariot card, and the chapter 2, and the key point of the chapter 2 and the main message in the chapter 2. So yeah, I'm gonna go live next week, and hopefully it will work fine. Everything will work fine for me next week, and I don't have to deal with the technology again. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in on this live, guys. Thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoyed this live, and I have fun talking with you guys. So I will catch up with you later, and tune in for tomorrow for the result. Okay, bye.